Right. Next, we have Puteri, Shri, Gaya, Athri, Abdullah. Are you here? Yes, hi. Behind the curtains. Please introduce yourself and your excerpt.
Hi, I'm Puteri Gaya binti Abdullah, and I wrote Behind the Curtains. I will now read my excerpt. Viv couldn't really remember how she got here or why she was here, but she was now standing beside Mr. Miller's body. Beside her was a crying Charlotte, two frowning detectives that were thankfully guests at the dinner, and two expressionless security guards. All she remembered was that Charlotte begged the detectives to let Viv help them, since she was a close friend of theirs and could hopefully provide any information that Charlotte may have forgotten in the past. Charlotte had also successfully made the detectives let them take a look at the body. The atmosphere of the situation was a mixture of sadness and tension. The closed curtains gave everyone a feeling of secrecy and somehow worry. The dimly lit backstage held an aura that make you check as if someone was watching, which in this case would be a murderer. Looking up, the stage would suddenly feel theatrical because of all the spotlights, some sort of balcony, and the fly tower. It felt all so set up. Everyone was thinking the same thing. If only this was an act. This could be a work of vengeance from long ago, or it could be new. Without any clues, we can't do anything. Has Cody called the cops yet? A tall, handsome detective whose name was David Brown broke the silence, which wasn't actually too silent because of Charlotte's sniffles. The second detective, who was slightly taller and much more good-looking than Detective Brown, was Andrew Horton, and he replied to David's question, "I don't think so. Poor guy is slow on his feet. I told you should have let me go instead of him." "Ah, I should have known, but that's all right. Murder's probably gone by now. No point in hurrying," Detective Brown said confidently. "It's very possible that the murderer is still in the building, you know," Charlotte worriedly said. "We should still hurry." The tears that were trickling down her cheeks and her tissue in her hand, someone made her look even more worried than before. "That's true," Detective Horton nodded. "I'll go." He patted Detective Brown's shoulder and went off. David grinned. "I apologize, miss. Should have thought properly about it. Must have been the wine." He cleared his throat. "So this is how this will work. I and Andrew inspect the body while the both of you stay behind the curtain or just stand quietly somewhere there." He pointed at a spot just several steps behind Viv and Charlotte. "Then I and Andrew will interrogate both of you separately. Afterwards, we'll look around for clues while the both of you go back to your seats. Understand?" Viv and Charlotte nodded. While Detective Brown bent down to examine the body, Charlotte leaned in towards Viv and whispered between her soft sniffling, "I genuinely hate to take this unseriously, but I hope Detective Horton interrogate me. He's very handsome and I like his deep voice." Charlotte smiled, but her tight, puffy red eyes made her look as if she was forcing it. David Brown seemed to have heard that and looked up to Charlotte, frowning. He then shook his head when Charlotte asked him if something was wrong. "Nothing, miss, just thought I heard something." Charlotte looked at Viv sheepishly. "I think he may have heard me," she whispered. Viv simply shook her head and sighed. She looked around her. Above, she saw something that resembled a balcony. At her right were the red curtains. At her left, she saw a wall with a few bloodstains. And at the wall and back of her, she saw an opening at each side to access the backstage. Other than the bloodstains, there was nothing that piqued Viv's interest. "Detective Brown, how did the bloodstain go all the way there when the body is here? It doesn't really make any sense, does it?" Viv asked. Detective Brown, still kneeling down beside the body, stared at the bloodstain for a moment, then looked at Viv. "Well, miss, clearly the body's been moved. Killed here," then he pointed at the bloodstain, "then was dragged or carried here." He simply pointed at the body. "Does that answer your question, or?" Viv nodded. After what felt like a few minutes passed by, Detective Horton came back. "Well, I called the cops, sent Connor to his seat, and now we have to wait," he said as he leaned forward a little to look at the body. "Better not touch the body, I think. We don't want to tamper with anything," he continued before looking up. "Don't you ladies want to go back to your seats? Now that I think about it, before not letting the two of you be involved. Sure, you can help by answering our or the cops' questions during the interrogations. I'm sure Miss Miller here can help with that greatly since she is, after all, the daughter. Other than that, I think we're done here. David, better let the cops take over first and we'll see what they have to say. If they let us help with the case, we help." Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you very much, Putri. Right.